To get started, I'm Kurt Riebling. I was the local organizer. I'm right from here in Newtown, just around the corner. I have been a MoveOn member for the last couple of years, I am honored to be standing here with you today. This is one of over 275 similar rallies all across the country today. There are tens of thousands of people joining us, so you aren't alone. You're part of a lot bigger crowd. In Connecticut, the Republican budget would cost us 8,700 jobs. Let me say that again. In the midst of a crippling recession that many people are still struggling through, and we have people out of work right here, Republicans want to propose a budget, and Senate Democrats and the White House cannot go along with this. That's why we're here to urge them all to resist this. That budget would lose 8,700 additional jobs in Connecticut. There is an alternative to the Republican vision for America. Instead of punishing working families who are already struggling, we need to defend the American dream by investing in America and making corporations and millionaires pay their fair share. At a time when millions of Americans are struggling to make ends meet, it makes no sense to make cuts that would cost hundreds of thousands of jobs, remove teachers from already overcrowded classrooms, and much more. Republicans are using the wrecked economy as an excuse to slash vital programs and hurt workers while continuing to give tax bailouts to big corporations and millionaires. In Congress, Republicans are proposing massive cuts to education funding. They're taking police off the street and food out of the mouths of hungry children and moms. They're destroying jobs instead of creating them and saying, so be it. Even Goldman Sachs put out a report that admits that the Republican budget would cut economic growth in half over the next year. We cannot allow this attack on the American dream to continue. That's why we're here today, to stand up, to fight back and defend the American dream against the right-wing assault.
Years later, we've done a lot as Democrats. There's a lot to be proud of, but there is a lot left to do after 8 years of George Bush and the Republican Party running this country into the ground. So where we're at today is we're still making up for their problems. But at the same time, now that they're in control of the House, they're trying to cause the same problems that they did for the Bush administration once again. And we've seen the movie before. We know that cutting teachers is not good for education. We know that attacking public sector workers is not good for the middle class. We know that taking away healthcare rights causes the conversation that we talked about at the beginning of this whole thing. And so if the Republicans are able to pass H.R. 1, which Kurt mentioned some of the statistics of that, it's really shocking. $61 billion in cuts that attack almost every facet of the middle class, the working class, and the poor. And Chris Murphy, although he cannot be here today, I can assure you is down in DC doing everything he can to fight these reckless and heartless cuts that the Republicans are trying to put forward. So I'm glad that you are all here today, and I'm sorry that he could not be here to see you. But just know your voice is being heard down there, especially from him. And he is taking up this fight on a daily basis. And now, given what happened just a few hours ago, I'm not sure if you saw it, they passed another continuing resolution. Chris did vote for that begrudgingly because the alternative is a government shutdown. And a government shutdown hurts the folks that we're trying to protect almost as much, but not as much as the $61 billion in cuts. So in 3 weeks' time, there will be a reckoning on this. And the Republican Party needs to make a decision whether they're going to stand up for the people that are in this crowd and the people that we're here to protect, the middle class, or they're going to help their cronies that are in the special interests and the people that are trying to stop everything that we've worked so hard to get in the past couple of years.
Who's going to want to teach? If you say, we're going to take your pay, we're going to take your pension, we're going to take your benefits, we're going to help you pay more and more and more and more, and we're going to increase your class size because we're going to fire the people who work with you because we don't want to pay you, what's going to happen to the education in our country? And we need to educate the kids because they are looking at a future where you are going to need an education more than ever. So I am so in support of the Wisconsin teachers, so support of all of the public unions. And we are the middle class, and it is so sad. And when it says, keep the dream, save the American dream. I'm a Vietnam veteran, and I had my own business for 20 years, and I became a teacher because I wanted not only to make beautiful furniture and cabinets, but to make better people, and that's why I teach. And if that dream isn't there for the kids I teach today, we are doing such a disservice to the future of America. Thank you.
I don't know if you guys have heard this, but never before in the history of this country has the divide between the very wealthy and the rest of us been so wide. Never before. One way that this country has responded to that divide is by giving people who make over $250,000 a year a tax break. The other way they've responded is by giving, I don't know if you guys have heard of these, retention bonuses to the guys on Wall Street. I know this by personal experience because I just moved from Greenwich, Connecticut, and I personally know a guy who received a $1.2 million retention bonus at Bank of America the year that you guys bailed out Bank of America.
You know, for me, the door was open when I was in high school, and I worked hard and scored well on a test, and I was able to get a scholarship, publicly funded scholarship, through the state of New York Regents. Allowed me to go to a state school and get a state diploma to earn my teaching degree. Went to a state school so I could get my librarian degree and become a school librarian. Went to a school and taught. I could count maybe 10,000 children. I think that's a bonus for those children because I put in honest work and I give them what they need. I don't want to tell them, sorry, the door is closed for you. You, no matter how hard you work, aren't gonna share what I got. That was the dream then. Where is the dream now? The dream now is let's take your money and pull it together and make our money with it. You can't share in it, it's ours. We'll take your house because you can't pay for it anymore.
I worked 18 years with no raise for the last 6. I got laid off 2 years ago because of the housing market. No one is moving, no one is buying, no one can sell, no one can build, and construction is down, diesel is up. My IRA is gone, my unemployment is over, I've paid all my taxes, worked all my life and paid into the system. Now I'm one of those people that are struggling in the middle class just to stay afloat.
What brought you out to the event today?
Well, it's time we need to stand up for what the middle class is while we still have it left. My kids need to grow up in a world where they're going to be respected and given the opportunities that America promises for everybody. And that's slowly being eroded and taken away. And so I'm here today to help stop that.
Has this been a movement that you've been following from the beginning of the Wisconsin situation? Or,
Yeah.
or before that?
Really a little bit before that, but Wisconsin's really sung out in a lot of ways to me, the people finally standing up and stepping up for people who haven't been spoken out for in a while.
You're a special education teacher?
Yes.
Tell me how you see this impacting your part of the teaching profession and the people that you try to help and care for.
As class sizes are going to go up, almost across the nation. We're looking at, we're talking about 65,000 teaching jobs are going to be lost over the course of the year with these budgets that are going through, and it's going to have a direct impact on what's going to happen with kids, especially kids who have difficulty learning.